Welcome back to Apex Alchemy, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I want to talk about my week with this knife. This is a Kershsw Belair. It's technically Courtney's knife, but I asked her if I could carry it for the week, and she said I could. So I did, and I've got some stuff to say about it. I'll never carry it again for a week. Never ever. I hope not anyway. I hope I'm never in a position where I have to carry this knife for a week. It's just not my style of knife. We'll go over the reasons why. I've got like 4 buts. There's always buts, essentially. But before we get into that, I'll go over some size comparisons with you just in case this is the first or the only video that you see of the Belair before you make your decision on whether you want to purchase one or not. Here it is against the Ontario Rat number 1, the Spyderco PM2, or in this case, the Sebenza 31 large. Here it is sandwiched between the Natrix on top and the Launch 16 on bottom, Kershaw brethren. Here it is against the Bug Out, or in this case, the AD 20.5 by Cold Steel. There it is against the American Blade Works Model 1 version 7. And here it is against the Civivi Elementium. So let us not mince words. Kershaw did a fantastic job on this knife. It is a beautiful knife. It functions fine. The HRC test that we did is already up. I give you guys too much. I give you guys too much for you not to subscribe. I really do. What other reviewer does HRC test? I know people send them off and they have them tested and shit. But listen, man, I'm testing them. I'm posting the videos. All you gotta do is fast forward at 10. You find out what the number is. Where else do you get that shit at? You don't get it anywhere. I know you don't get it anywhere else. I know you get it very few places. Very few places going to give you a knife review. Make their own knives and do HRC tests for you on other shit that they didn't make. So hit the subscribe button. Anyway, I think the HRC on this knife was 63. You have to go back and watch that video. But they did a great job on the HRC as far as I'm concerned. It still is Magnacut CPM, still developed by Dr. Larry and Thomas, if you didn't know. All right, so aluminum frame, everything feels really good. I've got, like I said, I got a couple butts about it. First thing's this pocket clip, man. I don't know if this could be remedied. There has to be an alternative, but this thing sticks out so far. And like the camera's not even, it doesn't look as bad on camera as it does in real life. But I have this habit from when I had my 940, I just kind of palm the knife and squeeze it in my palm when I go to close it. That goes with any Axis style lock knife, so that's it doesn't hurt, but it's uncomfortable, if that makes any sense. It's just not, it's not great. Something else not great on this knife is the thumb studs. They feel unfinished. They're really rough around the edges. The thumb studs caught on the seam of my pockets while I was deploying the knife at one time. Well, I was actually just taking it out of my jeans, but it ended up deploying, and that's okay if that's what you want. If that's what you're planning on doing, like if you have an Emerson wave feature on a knife or something, and you expect it to open whenever you pull it out of your pocket, that's one thing. But if you're not expecting it, it could be, it could be a nice little accident. So anyway, rough thumb studs, pocket clip. What else we got? For my size hands, I don't really get the greatest purchase, man. I mean, I'm okay. Like, I can use the knife all day long. And I'll say this jimping right here is excellent. This jimping down here, I would say that it just might as well not be there. If you like this jimping, that's cool. There's going to be some people that like that jimping. It's less aggressive. But I really don't. I was wearing gloves one of the days, and I just didn't really feel like it was a benefit. But with it being aluminum, it is slicker. Kind of just wanted to slide out of my hand while I was using it. I was working in a wet environment one day, so I was running into all kinds of opportunities for this thing to slide out of my hand. But anyway, not real crazy about the jimping. Got the pocket clips real rough. Other than that, there's no hot spots on the knife except for where you want them. The knife did come sharp. I didn't have a problem with the blade. However, with my job, what the task that I do, I was constantly going up, back to my backup, which was this knife most of the time, which both of these are still on their factory edge, by the way. I've carried this one a lot longer. I've carried this one for like 2 weeks straight by itself, no backup needed. But this is M4 Magnacut, like I said. But I kept on going back to my backup because this blade, I'm not sure why. I like having a little belly in the blade. Even sometimes when I make my own knives, I leave a little bit of belly in the blade. Like say the Reptora is, I mean, it's not as much, but it's got a little bit there with a forward cant. You know, you can keep your cuts together, you know, and organized. But anyway, that little bit of a belly in the blade, I'm not exactly sure what the deal is, but the blade kept on falling out of the cut. You know, and I would say maybe it was just me. I was having an off day, something like that. But no, it was every time I was using it. Like with this knife, I can just start cutting the shrink wrap off of a pallet, and I go all the way to the floor. And that's what a lot of people don't like about Tonto. But like in my job, this part right here is a godsend. You know, like so I tend to like Tontos, and I really like utilitarian blades too, like the 80-20.5, because it stays in the cut. Like I can cut several hundred feet of shrink wrap and never reach the end of the knife. I was reaching the end of the knife like lots with this blade. You know, it was just pulling the material all the way to the ricasso, and I don't know why. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. Just had a few buts. So before you purchase this knife, maybe you want to handle one, maybe you want to get one in hand. I'm not, you know, I love a deep carry pocket clip, but I think this is a little excessive. Like I said, it might be able to be remedied because it's nice and flat on that side. So maybe one screw will do. Oh, no, because that screw's going into a standoff. So it has to be there, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's another type of pocket clip that would be universal with this knife. I just don't know. But I am not a fanboy of this pocket clip on this knife. You know, probably any Axis style lock knife. I know it's a bar lock, whatever. So any bar lock knife, I'm probably, you know, whenever I close it, I'm going to be putting it in my palm and swinging it closed like that, just kind of out of habit, you know. And I really don't know any other way to do it, but it's just a distraction. That's what it is. It's like, it's uncomfortable, but it's more of a distraction than it is like a cumbersome pain or anything. It's like, it's not something that really hurts. It doesn't prevent you from being able to use the knife, but it's not something I enjoy. It's an aspect of the knife that I wish was a little different. I know they went out of the way for us because we were always begging for deep pocket clips, and generally I like them. If this was a frame lock, I think I'd be okay with it. In this case, I think it's just sticking a little bit too far out. On a positive note, Courtney seems to really be liking the knife, and I think she'll come out with her own video, or we'll sit down together and talk about it after she uses it for a little while and get some experience with it. She's off work for a little bit because of the holidays. Speaking of which, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. But she doesn't have any experience, so she with the knife, except for putting it in her pocket, and that's what I was going to get to. So even at the size of this knife, since it had the deep carry pocket clip, like she can put the Civivi in most of her pockets fine, because obviously that's going to leave a little bit hanging out, and she likes to have the lanyard hanging out too. But this knife actually pockets a lot better than this knife in women's jeans, so that might be something you can, you know, might want to take into consideration as well. So this like may be a better back pocket knife, you know, like, so hence the thumbnail. Yeah, I would never carry this as a primary or a direct backup, but like it might be something I carry beside my wallet, you know, something, and not clipped. You know, like I just want it back there. You know, if I was going to carry this thing, I'd want it back there somewhere, or maybe even just take the pocket clip off and stick it in my pocket. That way I have to reach my hands down and grab a hold of the knife and bring it out. I don't like accidentally deploying coming out of the pocket. That doesn't really sit well with me, man. I've cut myself a lot at work since I am like my own supervisor, and I'm pretty much on my own. I don't have a place to go to get stitches or something. You know, like a lot of times, you know, like any hospital will be out of network. It'd be very expensive for me as a truck driver to cut myself bad enough to need stitches on the road. Not to mention, you know, like all the time that, you know, like if you happen to need stitches, you're gonna end up in a situation where you're losing a day or two of work too. So anyway, just not my style of carry. You know, I could get past the size, and I could get past, you know, if the pocket clip was not so deep carry, if it just like lined up with the butt, I think it'd be perfect. And some finish work needs to happen with those thumb studs, which I may do myself. I may just take them off and throw them in the you know, put them through a stone wash process and just try to see if I can deburr some of that stuff off of there, since I have that machinery here at the house. So otherwise, I think they really did knock it out of the park. You know, the design is fine. You know, I think it might be a perfect knife for somebody else, but for me, just not my style. So anyway, I don't hate the knife. So like, I don't want to fight about that in the comments or anything. I'm proud of them. It's a USA made knife for about $150 in Magnacut at 63.5 HRC. It's just like, there's nothing to complain about. Like the sole of the knife and everything about the knife, they've done just a standout job. It's just the minor details of it is going to keep me from ever carrying one. And that was pretty much the same way with the bug out too, though, really. I mean, it's just not my style. Like, it's not a bad knife. I can respect the bug out for everything it is, right? But at the same time, it's just not a knife that I could ever get used to carrying. It's a little on the small side, little on the finicky side, little toyish feeling, just a little, you know, like just not exactly robust, you know, and it's not what I'm really looking for in a knife. But females, she found some jeans, Ariats. I don't know the model, but she went and bought some Ariat jeans, and they, you know, this knife fits down in the pocket just perfect for them, or with those particular jeans. So like, I don't know if the Ariat's got deeper pockets, or I'm assuming they do. I'm assuming they have deeper pockets for women jeans than some of your other brands like Miss Me and you know, whatever, rock revivals and stuff like that. Anyway, you guys have a good one. You got any questions or thoughts, or you want to add your own opinions, put them down in the comments. If not, we will catch you on the flip side.